Patrick Krug, and I'm chairperson of NYC's Board of Directors. I'm representing NYC today in place of my colleague Kathleen Green. The New York Public Interest Research Group has long been active in protecting New York City's drinking water supply, and we thank the City Council for holding this hearing. Through comprehensive watershed protection efforts, we believe the city's $1.5 billion investment to date in watershed protection has paid off. New York City's drinking water has remained clean, and the city has been able to avoid filtration under the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act thus far. Never before has there been such a threat to the integrity of our water supply as the threat of natural gas drilling in the New York City watershed. Horizontal hydrofracturing carries a potentially huge environmental price tag. Unfortunately, the draft supplemental generic environmental impact statement released by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation did not provide the needed assurances that our water supply will be safe. Through executive order, the public will have another opportunity to comment. However, before it is sent back to the public, we believe the state must broaden the scope of the study, make regulations rather than permit conditions, address cumulative impacts, ensure the protection of groundwater and surface water, address where the enormous amount of water used for drilling will come from, fully dispose of all chemicals, ensure proper disposal of wastewater once laden with toxic chemicals and radioactive material, and have adequate staffing and resources at the DEC. Once the DSGEIS is updated and re-released, we urge the state to hold new public hearings and give the public sufficient time to comment. Water withdrawals in the New York City-Delaware watershed are subject to review and approval processes established by the Delaware River Basin Commission. Despite objections from many, including New York State, New York City, as well as in numerous environmental and citizen groups, the DRBC has decided to issue draft regulations for hydrofracking without undertaking a true environmental review that included sound scientific analysis. The draft regulations, if adopted, would impose different rules for identical natural gas developments in different watersheds, including different watersheds within the same state. The draft regulations do not address cumulative impacts, do not restrict chemical usage, do not restrict diesel fuel, and do not provide wastewater standards. Simply put, the draft regulations do not protect water quality and instead rely on industry self-regulation. NYC students and staff, especially at SUNY Binghamton and SUNY Portland, which are in the drilling epicenter, are actively engaged in educating and rallying students and citizens in their communities. Those campuses, and all of our campuses, state and citywide, are circulating what I hope to be a giant petition to Governor Cuomo, requesting the points mentioned in my testimony. We must make sure all New Yorkers are protected from the dangers of hydrofracking. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to testify before you today.
Thank you, Mr. Krug. Do you have a statement, Claire?
No, I don't.
Okay, fine.
I just, every single...
You got it? Okay, well, we're not going to waste time trying to set the clock, because that would be like a strange irony.
New York City has held 3 public comment sessions. One in Trenton, New Jersey, population 85,000, in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, population 13,000, and in Liberty, New York, population 7,000. In total, given time constraints in hearings, about 225 people were able to speak and submit their comments directly to the DRBC. All of this begs the question, how exactly does the DRBC define stakeholder? The DRBC has repeatedly indicated that they are not interested in involving the majority of the stakeholders in this regulatory process, or even acknowledging that the biggest population centers are in fact stakeholders. This is particularly outrageous considering that New York City is legally mandated to maintain the river's flow and quality downstream, and that New York City taxpayers have already invested over $1.5 billion in watershed protection of the Delaware River.
Yeah, the DRBC isn't here, and they've really been snubbing New York and having an official hearing. Tomorrow, we really need to make sure that this process is delayed further, that there's a real hearing here in New York City, and that the DRBC is at. I wanted to just highlight really that New York City has more tools at disposal that need to be looked into. There are legal strategies in New York City to be pursuing. There are also things such as supporting other municipalities that are pursuing bans and such things. I wanted to highlight that Buffalo, the city of Buffalo, has banned fracking, has banned the disposal of any wastewater, and also different waste that goes in their landfills from the entire city limits. I wanted to also highlight the fact that fracking wastewater has been thrown for the past year and a half into the Niagara River without any oversight and into Niagara Falls. And these are stories that still have yet to be told and really need to be put on record right now that this has happened. One of the things that's really important to recognize as well is that the infrastructure here in New York City is very susceptible to the fracking process. I'm from upstate New York, where in Mackinac, people for the past 20 years have been suffering, having water consuming their basements every day for 20 years because the water tunnels are leaking with massive fracking operations that could cause triggering of fault lines and other geological formations. You can see really a lot of more problems in that area.